Okay, good afternoon, folks. We'll get the meeting underway. Our first meeting for 2025.
Well, we'll sit that way or something.
Folks joining by Zoom, if I could just ask you to mute, please, unless you're addressing the committee. So before we begin today's meeting, Seguin Township acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Huron-Robinson Treaty Area. We recognize and respect the long history of First Nations and Métis peoples on this land, and that this region continues to be home to many thriving First Nations communities that have lived on Turtle Island for time immemorial. Seguin Township is committed to ongoing learning, responsible stewardship of our planet, and building relationships to help create a better future for generations to come. If I could have a mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to convene as the Committee of Adjustment for January 15th, 2025. Greg and Les. Moved by Greg, seconded by Les, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4:01 p.m. on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. All in favor? And carried. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants and the public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak to an application, please raise your hand, state your name and address, and direct all comments through me. Notice of decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Only the prescribed persons as per the Planning Act may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days of the decision. A couple of housekeeping items. If you're attending in person, if you're addressing the committee, please approach the podium and tap the mic button. And again, those joining by Zoom, please pay attention to your microphone settings. All right. Mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to accept the agenda for today's meeting. Lee and Greg. Moved by Lee, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approve the agenda for January 15th, 2025 hearing. All in favor? And carried. And once more, mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to accept the minutes of the previous meeting of the committee. Les and Wibb. Moved by Les, seconded by Wibb, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last hearing that took place on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There's a typo I just noticed in the minutes
Okay.
on the last page, I think. Oh, I can't even remember where it was now. It was the last page. It said Len. It should be less. Now I can't find it.
Okay, we have.
And I don't
Yes,
know
I
exactly
see
where
it.
it is
It's
now.
on page 6 of 7. It says Len Lesperance
Yeah,
for resolution
sorry about that.
2024-101. Okay. So we will make that small correction. And how about I just insert as read, circulated and corrected? So I'll read the motion one more time, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read, circulated, and corrected the minutes of its last hearing that took place on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. All in favor? Carried. I ask Committee of Adjustment members for disclosure of any pecuniary interest with regard to today's applications. Any conflicts to declare? None heard. Okay, I will ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce our first application, please.
The purpose of permission to expand application A-2024-0045F Stashuk is to expand an existing legal non-conforming dwelling. No formal correspondence was received.
Thank you. Who do we have for this application that would wish to address the committee?
There, okay, there.
Do we have a Dan?
Yes, I can
Joining, but-
speak.
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific to say, but I'm here to answer any questions based on what was submitted.
Okay, super. Thank you, sir. That's fine.
There's no new information and I'm sure you've all read it, so that I'm here to clarify whatever needs to be clarified.
All right. I'll turn it over to committee members. Any questions on this application? Greg, please.
Brady, my question is to you. I have no problem with the proposal. My only question is in regards to the zoning. When the lot was created, it was created out of a larger commercial property, which just subdivided it up and maintained that commercial designation. With it being recognized as a residence and a legal non-conforming residence, would it then potentially be rezoned as a shoreline residential? Or because it's legal non-conforming under a C4, does it maintain that designation?
So the designation still remains, and that's why they did apply for that application. It is something that staff could look at as a housekeeping item in the future, or if the applicants propose to rezone it with a zoning bylaw amendment. But as of right now, it remains as the shoreline property. But again, those two options, it could be a housekeeping item in the future, or if the property owners came in with a zoning bylaw amendment to rezone it to a waterfront property, that's the other option. Hopefully that answers your question, Greg.
It does, and I'm certainly not looking to ask the applicant to come in with the cost of a rezoning application as well. I think that maybe we could just take it back from a staff perspective to look at it as a housekeeping issue. I'm not looking to incur any cost or inconvenience to the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Any other questions from committee members? Okay, then I will ask for a mover and seconder, please, to bring this forward. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. So moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves permission to expand application A-2024-0045-F for Stashuk to permit an addition to a legal non-conforming dwelling, and are requesting the following permissions to zoning bylaw 2006-125 under section 7.3, table 7.2, interior side yard setback. Permitted is 15 meters, proposed is 3 meters, existing is 7, and the variance required then is 12 meters or 8 meters from existing. Under section 7.2, table 7.1, permitted uses, currently not permitted, so the permission is for a dwelling. So the variance is for one dwelling. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the relief will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. And number 2, that the owner applies for and obtains the required building permit for the addition within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Secretary.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Thanks for joining, and you're welcome to stay if you wish. Madam Secretary, next application, please.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0046-H Stiller is to demolish the existing one-story, two-slip boathouse and reconstruct a slightly larger one-story, two-slip boathouse on the subject lands. No formal correspondence was received.
Thank you. And do we have Mr. Nate Willems here to speak to this application?
I am here, yes.
Yeah, if you have anything to say, go ahead, please.
Basically, we're just, the boathouse has a lot of rot that we're just trying to rebuild it. The boathouse is at the bottom of a very steep cliff, so we're just hoping to add a bit of storage for the owners. So all we're hoping to do, there's currently a set of stairs that's enclosed underneath. We're going to, proposing to demolish those stairs and fully enclose that section, and then have a set of open tread stairs in place of that.
Okay, thank you. Questions from committee members?
Good to be.
Okay, last call. Questions, comments, anyone? Then I will ask for a mover and seconder, please. I've got Lee and Wibb. So moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approve variance application A-2024-0046-H for Stiller to demolish the existing one-story, two-slip boathouse and reconstruct a larger one-story, two-slip boathouse on the subject lands. The following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125 is required. Under section 4.28.1J, table 4.4, minimum lot frontage for a two-slip boathouse and closed slips. Required is 90 meters of frontage for a one-story, two-slip boathouse. Existing is 63.5 meters of frontage. Proposed is a one-story, two-slip boathouse with 63.5 meters of frontage and an increase of 5.78 cubic meters from existing. So that refers to this overall size, volume of the boathouse. So not square meters, but cubic meters. Variance then asked for is one-story, two-slip boathouse with 63.5 meters of frontage and the corresponding increase in size of 5.78 cubic meters from the existing building. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of relief will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. And number two, that the owner applies for and obtains the required demolition permit and a building permit for the boathouse within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay. And on to the next one, please, Melissa.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0047F Hadrath is to construct an addition to the existing cottage, requiring a variance for lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. No formal correspondence was received.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone that wishes to address the committee for this application?
Yes, I'm here. My name is Mike Hadrath.
Welcome, Mike Hadrath. Do you have any comments or just standing by for questions?
I'm standing by for questions. The building was originally built in '62, the original cottage, which was like an old hunt camp. All we're trying to do is make it a little more comfortable, as my wife and I are planning on retiring soon and want to spend a little more time in the area. We've had the place for 34 years and love the area. So our neighbors are quite happy that we're not moving or changing. They're quite okay with it. I've talked to both sides. and they're very okay with what we're planning on doing. So if you have
Okay.
any questions, more than willing to answer.
Thank you, Mike. Committee members, do you have any questions? Okay, last call for questions. Otherwise, a mover and seconder, please, to bring this forward. Moved by Les, seconded by Greg. Moved by Les, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approve variance application A-2024-0047-F for Hadrath to construct an addition to the existing cottage and requests the following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under section 6.3, table 6.2, lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. Permitted is 8%, proposed is 11% for a variance of 3%. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. Number 2, the owner demolishes the existing shed on the subject lands. And number 3, that the owner applies for and obtains the required building permit for the cottage addition within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Understand. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Secretary, number 4.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0048-H Ziegel to demolish the existing non-complying cottage and deck on the subject lands and to construct a new dwelling subject to a shoreline width of 19.41 meters and a height of 7.53 meters, also requiring a variance for lot coverage within 60 and a front yard setback. Letters of support have been received from neighboring property owners Bev and Henry Liquors, Gail Hoffman, and Jane Day.
Okay, thank you. Brenda, if you have anything to say, I know we have 2 applications. We'll just deal with them one by one to
Okay, great.
keep everything straight, if that's all right.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Thanks. So I'm Brenda Ryan from FAD Architects, and I'm here as the agent on behalf of the owners. Oh, is it on?
It's green.
Oh, it's on there now.
I believe I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So just here if you have any questions for regarding the applications.
Okay,
Those two.
thank you.
Thanks.
Well, stand by for a moment if you don't mind. Committee members, any questions on the first application? Wib, go ahead, please.
Just curious about the septic and how you're going to deal with that on this topography.
Yeah, so I had Carolyn Newby out, who's a septic designer, and we walked the property and sized the system that we think that they're going to need, and we measured it out on the site. So there's a back, I don't know if you were able to see, there's sort of a back parking lot as you go down the hill. There's a flat parking area, and there's a newer type of septic system that Carolyn is proposing that will fit within that area. And it has all the required setbacks to the dwelling. So we did make sure that we could get that to fit in that location.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Wib. Any other questions? Okay, mover and seconder, please, to bring this to vote. Moved by Les, seconded by Greg. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2024-0048-H for Siegel to demolish the existing non-complying cottage and deck on the subject lands and to construct a new dwelling subject to a shoreline width of 19.41 meters and a height of 7.53 meters. The owners require the variances below under sections 6.3, table 6.3. Maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline permitted is 8%, proposed is 9.94%, for a variance of 1.94%. And under section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum front yard setback, shoreline setback, 20 meters required, 12.65 is proposed, 10.54 is existing, for a variance of 7.35 meters. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. Number 2, the owners apply for and obtain the required demolition permit and a building permit for the new dwelling within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. And number 3, that the owners execute an agreement with the municipality pursuant to Section 45, subsection 9.1 of the Planning Act, and this agreement is to be registered on title to require the submittance of a revegetation plan. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, and we'll just carry on to the next one. I think we kind of know what's happening here. So if do you have anything in particular to say? Otherwise, we'll turn it to committee again for application A 2024-0049H. Same property. Okay. No comments, questions? All right, mover and seconder, please, to bring it to vote. Moved by Lee, seconded by Les. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves permission to expand application A-2025-0049-H Gernon to demolish the existing one-story, one-slip boathouse and detached dock and to construct a larger one-story, one-slip boathouse and detached dock on the subject lands. The following permission is required under section 4.28.1J, table 4.4, minimum lot frontage for a boathouse. Permitted is none. Proposed is a one-story, one-slip boathouse. So the variance or permission required is a one-story, one-slip boathouse. It will be 67 square meters in size. Subject to the following conditions. Number 1, the extent of the relief will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application. And number 2, that the owner applies for and obtains the required demolition permit and a building permit for the boathouse within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor?
I'm in
And carried.
favor. Could I?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to move or second anything. I guess I don't know if I'm not showing up or.
No, I've got you a couple times, Len.
Okay. So I
Um,
could move to end the meeting.
Yeah, okay, well, just stand by. We're not quite there yet.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, please,
The
Madam Secretary.
application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, thanks, Brenda.
Sure, thank you. Can I just say a great big thank you to Brady and Melissa? They were really great in helping us work through those applications, and the correspondence was amazing. And so thank you. I just want to give that acknowledgement and thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Glad to hear it. Yeah.
Thank you to the committee. Thank you.
All right, where are we? We are on to other business. Any other business from anyone?
Just that perhaps we should get snowshoes in our kit. Pretty hard.
Yeah. I think most of us probably have a pair, but I don't know. Does the township have a pair of snowshoes? We don't think so. All right. I guess we're ready to adjourn, Len, if you would like to move that.
I would, but I'd like to also thank staff for sending the really great pictures. When you couldn't always get a good look at the property, they were really helpful. Photos.
Okay, so I guess we're moving to adjourn, mover and seconder. So we've got Len moving for sure.
Positive.
We'll have to have a different seconder. Lee, moved by Len, seconded by Lee, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this hearing at 4:24 p.m. on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. committee will hold its next meeting at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February the 12th, 2025, or at the call of the chair unless the secretary treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? And
Thank
carried.
you. Could I ask one question of the staff before we adjourn? Or are we adjourned?
I believe we are adjourned, but you can,
Just in
ask a
terms
question,
of
I
the
guess.
expenses, I assume that you only want one sheet submitted at the end of June. Is that correct?
Just quarterly, so
Yeah,
3 months
quarterly.
at a
Okay,
time.
that's fine. Great.
Yeah.